German philosopher and theologian Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "Notice that autumn is more the season of the soul than of nature." Yet we play a guessing game, wondering what nature will show us with the fall foliage. Will it be vibrant or washed out? We have had a lot of rain. It's a guessing game, and we just have to wake up each day and see what God has in store for us. When it comes to the actual word to describe this season, some people say autumn, some say fall. Autumn is the older word. It appeared in the 1300s, while fall began appearing in the 1500s to reference the falling leaves. But the earliest known name for the season in English is harvest. Yes, the entire season was called harvest, not just an event that the farmers do when it's time to bring in the corn and the potatoes and the pumpkins. But whatever you might call this time of year, hold in your heart that this can be a season of the soul, not just of nature. That's fine. Here, this is yours. That's your time. Well, welcome to Old Stonewall Farm. I don't know what else he has. What you got there? Well, welcome, my friends, to Old Stonewall Farm. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It has been an incredible few weeks, and yes, that is Fritz squeaking on a toy. He is going to be a year old October 1st, and so I couldn't resist. I had to buy him some new toys, and of course, being that he is an October baby, I had to get him this little ghost. I pulled this out of my closet. I had this since I was a child. In fact, my mother said when I was in the crib, dog and I would fight over this Halloween decoration. The dog would go into the crib and take it out, and my mother would then bring it back, wash it, and put it back into the playpen. And I just thought that was kind of funny. It really is startling to pause and to think that I am in my late 50s, that this ghost is 50 plus years old. But as I said, this is the day the Lord has made, and I hope that you are finding ways to rejoice and be glad in it. These last 2 weeks have been strange for me, and I don't know quite how to explain it to you, but I've been holding on to that promise that God is in control. Once again, it seems like I'm entering into a season of uncertainty, and I don't know what the Spirit is up to, but I think it's okay to be in that position of uncertainty. I think that is when we get over the struggle of it, when we get over the lament that, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here, when we get over all the negativity of uncertainty in our lives, then I think we can begin to see the positive, that we can begin to see that the uncertainty isn't a bad thing, but it is exactly the very thing that God is using to open up our lives to what God wants for us. And I'm there once again. And when it hit me a week ago, very powerfully, I started to feel this really deep sinking feeling in the bottom of my stomach. And I will admit that I began to allow myself to really sink into just negativity. Started to find myself getting very, not depressed, but probably in a state of despair, perhaps. Maybe that's a little dramatic, the word despair, but we've all been there. We've all been there, haven't we? When we think that life is finally just chugging along nicely, and when you finally feel like things are settling down in your life, then to all of a sudden have the rug pulled out from underneath you again so quickly after just a short season of peace and the time to breathe, you have to question, okay, what is going on? One night I found myself just with no energy at all. And I took my iPhone and I played some of my music. And I came across a song that I haven't played in a long time, years. And it's a Christian contemporary singer. It is called "Oh Great God, Be Small Enough to Hear Me Now." And the song begins that way: "Oh great God, be small enough to hear me now." And then it goes on to say, "I don't need you to part another Red Sea for me. I know that we have walked our share of Jerichos, walking around that wall and just saying, let the wall come tumbling down. I know that you are God." And the song just keeps going on saying, right now, I don't need those big demonstrations of your power and might. I'm not asking for big answers to prayer. I'm not asking for big miracles. But basically, I just want you to be small enough, oh God, great God, to hear me. That is where I'm at right now. I'm not praying for answers or, dreams to come true. And I'm no longer praying for, oh God, please help me and open up the next door for me. At this point in my life, I just need to pray and pray more and just have that certainty. Oh, great God, you still know the number of hairs on my head. God has parted a lot of Red Seas for me. And I'm sure God has parted many Red Seas for you. Take a moment with me and think about all those Red Seas that God parted for you. All those moments that you thought you had no way of getting through, getting to safety, getting to your next part of your life, and dangers and problems are behind you, chasing you, and you feel like you've hit an obstacle and you're like, there's no way. And then out of faith, you take that step and you enter into the waters, and God parts them for you and leads you to where you're supposed to go and gets you safely to the other side. So think about that. What have been your Red Seas? Yes, in the season I'm in, once again, of uncertainty, this time around it's different. I am entering into the season of uncertainty with great celebration because I know the Red Seas that God has already parted for me. And then the song continues saying, I know that you can send wisdom in my sleep like you did with Solomon. And I know that you could put writing on the wall that's just for me. God, I know you can do all that. There are times when we don't need all that. There are times where God says, just enter into my presence. And that in itself is enough. So it's been a couple of weeks of just craziness, uncertainty, and it's been crazy here at Old Stonewall Farm. We're finally getting our bake oven done, and we decided on a slate roof. And my husband found a great slate company, and rather than going for gray slate, we found a beautiful brownish color. And what is really a fun story to share with you, we seem to be in a world where no one ever gets back to you when you call, no one ever emails you when you have a question about something. We seem to be in a society where you just can't get answers or you can't get good customer service, right? Husband stopped at this slate place and he left his phone number and he asked the guy to look around to see if there's enough of the used slate in that color that we wanted. Well, we haven't heard from the guy, so he stopped by again, and the man that he spoke to wasn't there. So PJ, my husband, just left. The other night, around 8 o'clock at night, we were just winding down. Yes, we go to bed early. See a man walking in our backyard coming up the back steps. And I was like, PJ, there's somebody here. Oh my goodness. And Turns out it was the man from the slate company with a handful of samples for us. Know where we lived. So he went to the town barn and there was some man working there and he inquired, "Hey, do you know this old house that they're building this stone bake oven?" And of course, people know it. And, "Oh, yeah, yeah, you wanna go down that road?" And it was just so funny that he found us. Instilled in me hope once again for humanity. I know it sounds very, dramatic what I just said. It was just a guy going out of his way, giving us slate samples, but that very rarely happens. Song, I go back to it, "Oh, great God, be small enough to hear me now." You don't need great big demonstrations of the power of God in our lives. What we need to know is that God is very close to us. He never leaves our sides. Be small enough to hear me now. Be there to know that you're going to catch me when I fall. You're going to catch my tears when they start to drop from my eyes. And that is the God that is with us. That is the God that is walking with us right now. So there are signs of hope all around. There are those little moments of a man delivering slate samples out of the blue. And that in itself just made my heart glad because it made me realize that people are good. Can't lose sight of that. So, my friends, no matter what you're going through, know that all will indeed be well. And as the fall season begins here at Old Stonewall Farm, whether you call it fall or autumn or harvest, whatever it might be, know that it is a season where it is okay that things that need to die will die, that nature is preparing to slumber, and sometimes we need to also slumber and to rest. And if you are in a season of uncertainty like I am, don't look at it in a negative way. Challenge you to embrace this time of uncertainty as a celebration.